Well, hello, and welcome to SimonsRants. I'm sorry, today we're giving our first thoughts on The Substance.
Well, that was a movie.
Coralie Farragut, I think is how you pronounce her name. She wrote and directed, and it's starring Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid.
Quaid.
And, I don't know what you did, but I'll just reenact what I was doing for the last 15 minutes of this movie, which was...
I was sitting there, quite like this, my hood on, like, oh.
In case you haven't heard anything about this movie, you don't know what it is. It is a body horror, dark comedy movie.
I had no idea.
And it centers around Demi Moore, who is an actress past her prime, who wants to be young and beautiful again. She's starting to lose job opportunities. People are all kind of talking about her in the past tense. And so she's trying to get her life back and is offered this drug that offers to be able to make her young and beautiful again. And as I said, it is a body horror, so you can guess things go wrong. Dennis Quaid also, I mentioned, is in it and is fantastic as like this executive of the studio, whatever, that she's working for. The whole cast is phenomenal. I mean, Margaret Qualley, this is now the third movie I've reviewed of hers this year. And it's funny because the first one was Drive Away Dolls, and I was like, whole movie sucks, she sucks, don't like her. And then Kinds of Kindness came out, and I really liked that movie. She had a small part in it, and I was like, okay, maybe I judged her too quickly. She wasn't bad in that. And then once again, she was really good in this, and so I'm like, all right, I'm sorry, Miss Qualley. I misjudged you. You're good. You're great. Demi Moore, also fantastic. Demi Moore is probably going to get some award recognition for this, I would think. I know it's horror, so probably, definitely not Oscar. But I think there's a chance that Golden Globes will give her a nod. There's still no real way she's going to win because it's horror, so they don't win anything. But she was phenomenal, and it's that kind of performance that I think award shows will want to at least kind of recognize. Yeah. How we feeling?
Yeah, that was a ride. I read a tiny synopsis, so I knew about the general premise involving Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley's characters. That was about it.
Yeah.
And wow, what a ride. Movie-wise, up until the last, let's say, like 10 minutes or so, I felt a lot of it was fairly predictable, but I very much enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah, I think for your first point, everything I knew, which was the trailer, the IMDb synopsis, lasted all of 15-20 minutes. After that, I was like, not entirely sure now what is gonna happen, but it was like I said, it's a body horror movie, and I knew that going into it, so I was expecting something grotesque, really gut punch. And I would say for the first hour I was disappointed. I was like, we're not really getting anything. Well, they saved it for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh man. But I agree. Enjoyed it thoroughly the entire time, but there was for the first hour plus, because the movie's like 2 hours, I'm not sure how long exactly,
2:20 I think,
but for the first hour and a half plus, I was going, well, I wouldn't classify this as a horror movie, but I enjoy it, whatever it is. And then having seen the ending now, I'm like, okay, there's no real other way to classify it.
Yeah, wow. So like there was basically one scene beforehand that really had any amount of body horror, and it was it was light.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really seen much body horror in years, honestly. I couldn't tell you the last.
I don't watch any, really. I mean, unless you include the first Saw, which, I mean, all the other ones after that are. That one's barely, but...
Yeah, I guess I've seen a couple of those.
I've never seen Human Centipede. I don't watch body horror. I guess the closest I could think is, like, Men, but once again, that's not really body horror until the last scene of the movie, and then you're like, oh my god.
It's like that first scene... It's like a 3. It's kind of it's kind of out of 10. It was light kind of impactful. I was very curious how it was gonna happen, and then after it happened, I'm like, okay, I probably should have seen that coming there. And then this ending, this last 15 minutes. No, just you give me.
Put that review on the poster. No, Justin.
You give me a million predictions, every million guesses. I mean, all right. You put a gun to my head, put my life on it, I die. I never guessed this.
It's funny because
it's.
I had a prediction about how the ending was gonna go. And when I saw it wasn't going that direction, I got disappointed for a little bit. I was like, man, if they had just gone that direction, it would have been awesome. And then they're like, oh, but this is what we're doing. And I was like, oh, okay.
God, there were so many choices at the end there.
And I was laughing. For a good section of it, too, because I don't know what else to do. It was either just sit with your mouth open or laugh. Oh, no. And I chose both.
Oh, no, it was that shocking and absurd at the same time that it was definitely laugh-worthy. But my gosh, it was well done, too.
Yeah, okay, let's actually review this so we can get to spoilers. Yeah, okay, first of all, never heard of this writer-director. I do know, it said at the beginning, which helped remind me, I did know it was at Cannes, but it also won Best Script at Cannes, so I didn't know that, but it's a well-written movie. The directing is very interesting, it's very unique. It really scratched that itch of, like, the weird artsy indie movies that I'm obsessed with. It's also allegorical, so it's like, it checks all the boxes for me. I was really happy with all of the weird quirkiness of it. Really, especially Dennis Quaid's performance really leans into the weird, quirky, and fun. He really had a lot of fun. Every time he was on screen, I'm like, screw all the naked women, I'm only looking at him. And by the way, this movie is very horny. Very horny.
The horniest movie I've seen in many years.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so we talk all the time about men objectifying women in movies. This was a female director.
Listen, women can objectify women too.
They can, and it's for
Equality.
A purpose. It was for a purpose. But no, I loved the cinematography. I loved how it was edited, just like really snappy editing with also the score. One of my favorite scores I've heard in a long time. The music was phenomenal, and it really just all came together. There was not a genuine complaint I could have about the movie other than one writing thing, which I'll get into in the spoilers, but I will say, just for right now, there's a certain point where the movie stopped making so much sense. The movie as a whole never really made sense, and it's not the point to make sense, but there's a point in time when, like, the rules all kind of got broken and I got confused. But other than that, there's not a complaint I can think of. Can you? I love this movie.
No, I was very thoroughly entertained front to back. Probably my favorite movie of the year so far.
You know how I could tell how much we both loved it? We didn't talk for like an hour.
Not at all.
Like, because normally, and we try our best to, respect the people around us, but there was nobody else really in the theater. There was one other person.
And when we have people in the theater, believe us, they're way louder.
Yes, and we can whisper, but we'll say, like, predictions, we'll critique things, we'll be like, oh, that, whatever. We'll react to stuff to each other. We didn't say shit for an hour because we were just like, oh, okay, I want to see what's going to happen. Every millisecond, I am glued to the screen, sometimes more than others, trying to see what's going to happen next.
Getting a close examination on that screen sometimes.
You said it's your favorite movie of the year. I don't know if it is, but it's top 3 minimum for me right now. And you haven't seen my 1 and 2.
I was going to say, I also don't think, I don't think I've seen either of your best ones. So this was absolutely wild.
Like, thank God. I love this. When, like, you barely hear anything about a movie, nobody's talking about it. The parking lot's practically empty tonight, and you go and going like, maybe it'll be good. And then you're like, absolutely it was. Holy hell. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm happy. This made my day. Granted, it's all I'm gonna do today, but it made my day.
Hey, there we go.
I mean, what do you even say about it? Just like, obviously, okay, I don't want to be like, across the board recommend this. Mom, don't watch it. I can't stress enough, this is for a very niche audience. From the quirkiness of it, to the body horror of it, to even the comedy of it. And also, if you want your movies to make sense, this might annoy you, but it's like I said, it's allegorical, and the allegory, mostly to me, I feel like I picked up on most of it and it made sense. There was some parts that kind of lost me, but like from a strict, like if you're watching it literally and you need to take things literally to enjoy them, you're probably not gonna like this, you know? And so I can't recommend this to everybody, but if you like weird shit, hell yeah, watch it.
Yeah, really the only people I can see not liking this outside of the people who might not like the nudity in the film.
Well, the body horror.
Is, the people who might not like
Squeamish.
body horror. And yeah, there was some wild body horror.
Yeah.
But if you can get through that, it is definitely worth the ride.
You know, the first moment, I sat there going, man, I was expecting more blood, you know? But by the end of the movie, you're like, I think they spent half the budget on blood, was the thought I was thinking. Like, you know, when It Chapter 2 came out, they bragged about this is the most practical blood ever used in any movie ever. And I was sitting there going, I wonder how this compares. And it's like going from that at the beginning of like, not enough blood in my opinion, to,
that's where it all went.
Quite a switch. It was quite a switch. I didn't realize it was a budget thing. They're like, we can't use blood today. We have to save it for Tuesday.
Listen. We have this amount of blood, all right? We want to use 5% on this one scene and then 95% on this other scene, all right?
I'm glad you liked it too, because I was wondering the whole time. I was like, I'm having a great time.
I was very into it. I did not expect the wild body horror. Yeah, I could see the first scene coming because by necessity.
Yeah.
But I did not see the rest. Oh, wow.
It's such like a fun, it's like so artsy too. I love the cinematography.
Oh, yeah.
I loved how everything
Wildly
looked
shot.
and felt. I mean, I'm gonna keep an eye out for this director. Like I said, never seen anything by her before, never even heard of her before this movie, but yeah, if she can make this, what else can she make, you know? Okay, I did think of one other complaint though. If I can really nitpick, and if you want some criticism, because I'm a critic and I'm supposed to be critical. One tiny nitpick.
Okay.
Maybe not tiny, but it is a nitpick. Is, you know how in movies when something clever happens, sometimes they need to tell you that something clever just happened? This movie did it for about half the runtime. Anytime there was any sort of callback, any sort of reference, it had to let you know 5 times that it just did it. And doing that once is annoying. Doing it twice, annoying. They did it, like I said, 20 times. And he was like, I got it. I was paying attention. When you said that thing 5 minutes ago, I heard it. I did. I can chalk that up to, in my opinion, it being a newish writer-director who's a little bit nervous that, like, they want to make sure that they're being taken seriously and they want people to pick up on what they're saying. And so I think there was a little bit of a nervousness there to just really trust the audience. So I think that is my only like legitimate complaint, along with that one weird story thing that we'll get into. But yeah, I mean, if you're starting at 10 and you're knocking off stars for mistakes, you've only got 2 mistakes there. You're ending up at an 8.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm not very much opposed to that at all.
I think if you really, really want, maybe a 7.5, but it's in that range, 7.5 to 8. This movie to me, oh man, I had a good time.
I'll definitely have to see this again sometime.
Yeah, I've already got 3 people lined up in my mind that I'm like, we need to watch this, we need to watch this. I guess we'll get into spoilers now, but like I said, what a fun movie. What a really fun, demented, crazy, weird, gross movie this was.
Absolutely wild ride.
Best horror movie of the year so far. Like I said, it's kind of weird qualifying it as horror because it doesn't really feel like a horror movie until the end.
Nothing's been scary, but definitely horror in that body horror style.
Yeah. I don't know what else you could qualify it other than, like I said, it is a dark comedy too. There's a ton of comedy in it.
Fair.
Allegorical something. But I recommend it if that sounds up your alley. But if you don't want anything spoiled, we are going to get into spoilers now. So please click away, but don't forget to like, share, and if you're new here, subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye. So, spoilers. It's hot. That's
in
my
Topeka.
What?
It's hot in Topeka.
It's hot in Topeka?
Yes.
Okay, so my one gripe with the storytelling, and let me know if you were thinking the same thing.
Okay. Probably
So
not.
this whole time, how it works is only one of them can be awake at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then randomly, they're both awake at the same time, and there's no real explanation given for that. I know, for context, if you haven't seen it, she tries to kill her by injecting her with this termination thing. So maybe that messed up the process, but this whole time, every time they were switching, they would hook up the thing and they would switch, and then one would fall asleep, they would pass out, and then the other one would wake up. But this time, for whatever reason, while they're switching, she doesn't pass out, the other one wakes up, and then they're both awake
So she
and
like
freak out.
Yeah, she like hits her with a termination,
Mm-hmm.
and then tries to hit her with the switch, but it doesn't work in the arm like they've always swapped with.
Yeah,
So she hits her straight in what I assume is the heart.
yeah, in the chest.
Yeah.
You set up these rules, and now you're breaking the rules. So that was weird to me. That didn't make sense. But I mean, really, that's my only major complaint, other than, like I said, the hitting you over the head with the commentary every once in a while. But I loved it. Because, like, for example, with the hitting over the head, I thought it was really cool, really subtle. She's got a note in her room that says, "You were great." And I was like, oh, see, it says were, past tense. And then the camera goes back and goes, were! And I'm like, I saw it, okay? I saw it.
No. But did you see it? Did you see it? It was
You
right
could
there.
have left it subtle, dude, because it was so clever and subtle at first, because, you know, it was all past tense shit. And then you're like, but did you get it? Did you get it? Well, and I was like, why did you have to do that? Or it's like she was given a gift, and he was like, oh, this will help you pass the time. And then scenes later, she's like, oh, the gift, I forgot about this. And she picks it up and his face appears on it. This will help you pass the time. Like, I didn't need his face to appear. And constantly throughout the movie, you have the voices come back and repeating lines from earlier. And it's like, why?
See,
I'm not stupid. I remember shit.
See, I know you tossed in when she opened up the present. It's French. I wish they had. That would have been good.
It's French. Because that was funny, because like that was the one thing that they didn't remind you of. He goes, it's something French. And then it's a French cookbook, which was funny. But that's the one part they don't remind you was said. But like later, then so like she becomes a horrible disfigured monster, and we'll get into why in a minute. But like then during that, she has boobs on her face because she's like a Van Gogh painting. She's all over the place, and it cuts back to a previous part where they're like, man, I wish the boobs were on her face instead of that nose. And it's like, okay, good, clever foreshadowing, but I don't need you to tell me you were clever. Just be clever and I'll figure it out.
But they planned that,
Okay, good.
and they thought you might have missed it.
Okay, well, even if I did miss it, because I'll be honest, I didn't get that until
I
they
also missed
mentioned
it, too.
I would have gotten it on a second viewing.
Yeah.
Let me find that out later. You don't need to hit me over the head with it, you know? And then I would appreciate it more on a second viewing, going like, oh shit, I missed that. How clever. Not, oh my god, you're telling me 10 times.
It was like when she met the other person. The other person
Yes,
going through the
yes,
substance.
yes.
And they had the arm, and I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, shit,
Wait,
it's
I
him.
remember somebody had an arm. Which one was that? And he's like, they flash back and show you him as the nurse or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for that.
And then he bends over.
I didn't get another second to think about that
He drops
one.
his card, and he's like, I got it was him. You didn't have to tell me 5 times it was him. It's like, seriously, it was like a comedy scene. Because, yeah, like the second I saw his thing, you know it's him. But in case you missed it, here's a flashback. I'm like, okay. But then he drops his card, and then he bends over and you see the cut, and then he says a line too. 7 days is a long time.
Yeah.
7 days. And I was like, just let the audience be smart. Audiences are like children. They're smarter than you give them credit for. So let us just fucking watch the shit, please. All right, love your movie, but next time, don't do that shit. But yeah, let's talk about the good stuff. Okay, so what ends up happening, and they warn her after you inject this one thing, which they gave you way too much if it was just for a one-time
Yeah, that was
injection.
a while. Like, they gave her 2 injections worth, I guess, to tempt you. I don't know what the fuck it was for.
I don't know, just in case you drop it. I don't know. But so she injects herself again with the thing that's supposed to start the whole process.
Yeah.
But it's now the one that's the yolk that has been spat out.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, if you haven't watched this movie, you have no idea what I'm saying. So basically, they give you this drug, you inject yourself with it, and you birth out of your back, a la men, which is why I referenced men, a younger, hotter version of you. In this case, Margaret Qualley. Which doesn't really look anything like Demi Moore, but whatever.
Not quite,
it's fine.
no. Yeah. Very, very noticeably different in the face.
Yeah, but they have the same thing on their ribs.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're the same person. Also, we'll really zoom in on their butts several times.
And the tits. Don't forget the tits.
And the vagina from the back.
Come on.
You will see the silhouette.
And we got some bush.
Yes, from the front. Yes.
Yeah. We hit a lot of
They really
ends.
emphasized. They were just like, she's hot, guys. She's hot now. I'm like, I don't disagree.
And she likes her body, too.
Yeah, and
She
she'll
also
show
thinks she's
you-
hot.
Yeah, she's hot now. And you're like, she is.
Hey. You know she's hot. We know she's hot. She knows she's hot. Hey!
Everybody knows. Anyway, but so a little too much on the gratuitous nudity.
I was alright with it.
I wasn't complaining, but if from a critical standpoint, it was a lot. It was. But, what was I saying? But anyway, so after you do that, you birth this other version of you. You have to take turns, 1 week on, 1 week off. And when you're on, you take out 7 days worth of goop from the other person's back. And each day you inject a little bit into yourself, and it keeps you going. You also have to feed your other self. But then you switch and you do the reverse version, whatever. But so what they say is you can't then do it again. You know, you can't go more than 7 days or bad stuff will happen. So they go more than 7 days, and so Demi Moore's falling apart because her younger self keeps abusing the system. So eventually she's an old witch hag thing. And
Yeah, it seems like sucked the vitality out of you.
Yeah,
slowly.
and it started in her finger, and then it was her leg, and then it
And
was
her whole arm.
whole body.
Yeah.
And so then she's like, all right, I need to end this now. I need to kill the girl. But she can't let go because they are the same person technically. And so even though this younger version is killing her, she's still too attached to being young and beautiful, so she can't commit. So she's like, all right, fine, I'll let her do the Christmas or the New Year's Eve thing. I'll let her do it because I can't get over needing the love and attention. So they do the switch thing. Like I said, for some reason she doesn't fall asleep. Don't know why. The younger version sees that she was trying to kill her, beats the shit out of her, and then goes to do her show. But because the process has been messed up, she's now starting to fall apart. And so thinks if she does the injection, starts the process all over, then she'll have a newer, even better version of herself. However, she comes out as a mutant monster version instead. And this is where, like we said, shit hits the fan. We didn't know where the movie was going anymore at this point. I will say, when her body starts falling apart, first her teeth fall out, then her fingernail falls out, then her ear falls off. And what I had been thinking was going to happen was she was going to insist on trying to do the show, and her body parts were just going to start falling off one at a time. I was like, this is where it's going to get really gross and fun. It's going to be awesome. So when she went home, I was like, God damn it, what a letdown. Nuh-uh. Not a letdown. She goes home, becomes the monster version, tries to do the show anyway, and
It is pretty damn hilarious how, as the monster version, she gets all the way to the stage without anyone noticing that she's a
nobody
monster.
stops her. Yeah, I kind of at first thought that like her stapling or gluing the picture of her beautiful self to her face, I thought that might be like a commentary on social media or something, because you're just using this filter that everybody reacts to, even though clearly you're not that. But then they moved away from that imaginary sequence. I'm like, maybe they're not saying that anymore. I'm not sure what they were trying to say with that. But regardless, she gets up on stage, pukes a tit out.
Yeah, that was something.
Some guy randomly has a sword or some shit.
No, I think he took like at like movie theaters they've got like the little roped off sections and like the little metal pole things. Okay. I think he picked up one of those and hit it with the grounded end.
Whatever it was, decapitates the shit out of her.
Yeah, it just blew the hell out of whatever section.
Head entirely gone. But guess what? She grows another one real quick. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
There's always the one behind.
Yeah. And then she goes to grab the mic, but her hand breaks off, and she just starts shooting blood everywhere. Over the
fucking
crowd,
fire hydrant.
All over the dancers, all over the girl's butt, all over the little girl that was there. So then she leaves the theater, which once again I was bummed because I was like, I wanted her to just like explode or something in the theater, cover the walls, which she did cover.
I mean, she was already covered, yeah.
But I want.
There weren't too many spots she missed.
Completely dissolve, fall apart there. But instead she's walking along the street. I'm like, why are we taking this to a second location? But then she explodes, and then her face just scooches out.
Yeah.
Crawls.
So all the meat around her face just gets to crawl the face away,
and then crawls onto her Hollywood star like on the sidewalk, and then dissolves and gets picked up by a street sweeper. Oh my god, what a movie. So, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was a wild ass ride.
Like I said, just mouth wide open, gaped open for the last 15 minutes. Just the holy shit to every decision being made here. Holy shit. I want to watch it again. Like right now, I want to watch it again. And I mean, it's not just body horror for the sake of it. Like, there's commentary in there too. Obviously, clearly, it's about, how women are objectified and their value is solely in their appearance and their youth, whereas the men can keep getting older and uglier and it doesn't matter. And then there was also, I think, some commentary in there about like your younger self and your older self are the same person. So you can't hate yourself for being old, and you also can't hate yourself for being young and reckless, because you are the one and the same. So as an older version, she's judging her younger version because what mistakes she does affects her when she's older. And then the younger one hates the older one because she's like, she's such a loser. I hate the idea of being old and disgusting. So it's like, that was a fun commentary too. It's definitely layered. I would want to watch it again because I'm sure there's even more commentary in there that I missed. But it was clever. Like I said, could have been cleverer, or just let it lie, rather, instead of telling us how clever it was. But it was good commentary. I really did enjoy that. It was a heartbreaking scene too, where she's all excited for the date, but then is reminded of what she looked like when she was young, and no matter what she does, she can't look as beautiful as she wants to, and so ends up giving up and just eating her feelings and hiding in her room. And I was like, man, that scene got me. That was a good scene. The whole movie, I mean, is good, but like that scene in particular stuck out where I was just like, that was sad. That was very sad.
She starts to feel like, oh, hey, this nice guy was nice to me, even though I'm older now, he still thinks I'm beautiful because, he's also older too. So, he's not vain. And so let me go out with him. But then the actual sad scene happens because that was sad. Her having to go back multiple times to try to change it until she gave up on herself.
Yeah. That was another point where I thought I was going to go somewhere different, actually, because I thought what the commentary was about to become was, so, like, she's looking for validation, and she can't get it from the masses, so then I thought she was going to turn to him for it, and I thought that was going to be like, well, see, that's not good either, and you should just be looking to yourself for validation. But it didn't even get that far. She didn't even leave the apartment. So that also kind of surprised me. I didn't realize it was going that way, and I think that's why that scene also hit me even harder, was I wasn't expecting that to happen.
Yeah, I didn't expect her not to be able to leave. I didn't think whatever relationship they were going to have would last more than a scene.
Yeah.
I thought her finger was going to get exposed, and then he was going to be rather vain.
Judgmental.
Yeah, and then that was going to be that. But she didn't even make it out, and then became the rest.
I thought he was either going to be judgmental or a creep, one or the other. But we didn't even get that far. We never even got to see who he was as a person, because he didn't matter.
I guess it wasn't technically the very first scene, but let's call it the second scene.
Oh, the star scenes, yes.
So, like,
when you said first scene, even though you corrected yourself, I was stuck on the egg, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, I don't think it's the first scene.
No.
It might be the second. I don't remember the exact order. No, it's not the first.
It starts with the egg
Yeah.
duplicating, and then it goes to the star.
Yeah.
Which was a fun little scene, too.
I thought that was a fun way to show the passage of time.
Yeah.
You assume her career ages as you clearly see they build the star. It goes through life. People view it. They get their pictures with it. The
Then
seasons change. It starts to crack.
What's her name? What was she in?
They can't remember it. People just ignore it. They
Drop
walk
their
over it.
cheeseburger on it.
Yeah, all the ketchup or whatever, and he just smeared it with his foot. Like, what? Why? That was.
I don't even know why I tried to pick everything up. I would have just walked away.
I would have walked away too. Fuck that shit.
It's Hollywood. It's not clean.
That was very kind of him, but the foot thing was dumb. That was real dumb. Now you just got ketchup on your foot. And then I was wondering if we were going to see it get cleaned off at some points for like a cleaner come by, and then it moved on to the actual movie. But at the end, we see her melt onto it, and then her explosion and get cleaned up at the end too. I thought,
interesting.
Wow. Continuation here.
Yeah, no. I'm surprised they didn't point it out 5 times.
Please, that would have been great.
just like show a cheeseburger drop on it, and they're like, wait, rewind.
Just his foot just smeared around.
Yeah, it's funny because like I was enjoying myself so much this movie, but the whole time I was just worried. I was like, I wonder what Justin's thinking, because this is kind of one of those movies where like you enjoy it, but you're gonna be nervous that the person next to you doesn't. This
was odd. But I don't think it was really that odd until the last 10, 15 minutes.
It definitely asks you to be okay with some shit, though. Like some weird shit. Like the whole premise in of itself is weird. It's quirky.
Yeah, but like it didn't seem that bad. Okay, like all I knew about the movie was she gets some substance to inject herself with to create a younger clone of herself because she's not satisfied.
That's the other thing too, is I thought the substance was going to be a lot. I thought at first that the substance was like a commentary on Ozempic, so I was expecting it to be like she goes to a doctor suggests it, that's how it happens, and it's just like some fucking creepy ass place in an alley that doesn't open up all the way. I was like, why the fuck are you doing this, lady?
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be some wild backdoor illegal drug. I thought it was funny in the later scene where she keeps her under the whole time and starts to just pull out as much as possible. Because like the whole time she's doing it, I'm thinking, okay, does this run out?
Yeah, which it's annoying because you know the younger self is going to make stupid decisions, but it's like that's kind of the point of the whole allegory, is that when you're young, pretty, and dumb, you do dumb shit because you just think you can get away with it.
But yeah, I thought it was wild. She really thought they were gonna last forever. But like, I was kind of worried about the whole process because I didn't expect her to be killed by her younger self directly like that.
Right.
I thought the sapping time potentially might kill her,
which it practically did.
And then,
but then
if she was dead,
kicks to the chest anyway.
Yeah, but then if she was dead, there'd be no more spinal fluid, and then she would just die anyway.
Yeah.
And I did not expect the whole kicks to the chest, smash your face into the glass.
It was so quirky and weird, but I was just like, okay, sure, we're going this direction.
And really, there was definitely a few. Like I said, I feel like there were parts where I was like, okay, I know where this is going, and there were like there's like 3 or 4 parts in the movie where I'm like, okay, we have a point here where this could go a few different directions. Where are we gonna go? One of them was the termination at the end.
I thought that movie was genuinely ending, I'll be honest. I thought she was actually going to kill her. And then kind of like what happened with the monster going, I thought she, as the old hag version of herself, was going to try and go and be rejected, obviously. That's what I thought was happening.
See, that would have made a little more sense to me than what happened.
Once I saw she was starting the process again, I figured something similar to what happened was going to happen. I thought she was going to come out looking the same at first, but then I was still stuck on her doing the show and then falling apart while doing the show. So I was like thinking, well, maybe she'll just come out looking fine, she thinks, but then she goes, but then it's accelerated because it's a weaker version, so it just like within hours her arms will fall off and something. I don't know. I thought it was also one of the more subtle moments in the movie with the commentary was, so her first boyfriend, the motorcyclist, I don't even know if he's a boyfriend or not, but
that was a one nice
dude, yeah, he's obviously obsessed with her, thinks she's amazing and wonderful, but when she's older, not even like old and gross, just normal Demi Moore older, he's an asshole to her and screaming at her like, get out of my way, you're worthless, you're a piece of shit in my way. And I was like, that was one of the more subtle moments of commentary because they didn't double back to it at all. So
hey, she's 50, man.
Useless. All right, I think we're useless at this point. That's all I got. I recommend it once again to the niche audience. I think at this point you'll know or not if it's for you. But if it's for you, it's one of those movies it's outstanding. It's a shoo-in for top 10 of the year. It's pretty much already a shoo-in for the top 5 in my mind. If it's not, we had a good year. We had a very good year. So I recommend it, or not. Or absolutely not, depending on who you are.
Yeah, as long as you at least can live with the body horror, you'll probably enjoy this movie.
And gratuitous nudity, then you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
I like, share, and subscribe too, I guess, but whatever.
Whatever.
This is a dying YouTube channel, nobody gives a shit.